Banshee video, boys, and the Banshee's getting torn apart. We just put this thing back together in the other video, if you saw. It got the wheels on her now, got her looking nice. New tires on her, we put the new grill on her. Thumb throttle on it now, and we got a seat cover on it. And kind of has brought this thing back to its OEM look, if you will. So she's shined up, she's looking pretty right now, but she's coming back apart, boys, for a few reasons. Like I talked about in the other video, the clutch is no good. I can have the clutch pulled in and it's maxed out on everything right now. Basically, you can literally hold the clutch in, drop it in gear, and it stalls, it wants to jump. There's no clutch right now existing. You can put this thing, it was already going out before, like it was super hard to pull. You can put this thing in gear and it literally wants to turn it over. You can literally bump start it in gear with the clutch in. It should want to roll. I can let the clutch out and it's literally the same. And when it happened on this bike, it was because the water neck that goes into your case right here, that little O-ring went out and it let all that coolant into my gear oil, which therefore seized the clutch, made it stick together. It wasn't opening. I don't know, it could be the reason on this thing. It's leaking too. It's leaking out of the shifter seal down here. We're gonna pull this side off too. We're gonna really get a good look in this bike. That means we gotta pull these foot guards off and all that fun stuff too. So possibly might order a few more parts now that I'm looking at it, and we gotta get in here, boys, and we gotta clean the carbs too, so I gotta pull the carbs off. So new clutch, Mac Daddy racing clutch. This is what I put in my dune bike and I actually love it. So really nice clutch, but everything else OEM cable here, new clutch cable, just because this one is pretty dry rotted. And we got a clutch case seal. So got a few more parts on the way. The water pump impeller and the water neck and seal. Like, why not do that stuff while you're in there? And the shifter seal on the other side. First things first, gonna remove everything foot peg wise. Kickstarter's gotta come off, brake, you gotta. Got everything off, got the foot peg off, took the whole brake off. Gonna go ahead and drain all this coolant out now. There we go. Pretty bad. That was pretty rough. Oh my. Alright, I've been slacking on filming, but I pulled this thing apart. I don't remember the last I filmed, so I'm just going to talk about it again. I inspected the basket. It is kind of rough. You could see the mark right here, but it doesn't feel rough. It literally just has like a wear, almost like it's been sitting kind of mark to it. It needs to be cleaned up, I think. But to the touch, it's smooth. The baskets are smooth all around in here. I felt it all. We're looking good on that part. This seal doesn't look too bad on the water neck. Like I said, we're gonna replace it, and we got the whole thing because it's almost cheaper. It's like 15 bucks to do it with just the seals after ship, or you can get the whole kit. OEM, it's like 22 bucks. Got some more parts in, got a bumper in. We'll go over that tomorrow. As right now, I'm kind of just coming out here real quick to do this because you want to soak your clutch overnight. The fibers and I don't get what you would call the other part right now, but the fibers and the plates, I guess you'd say. You want to soak them at least like overnight beforehand. And this Mac Daddy one came with springs too, new springs. So I don't have a feeler gauge, so I can't go into too much detail, and I can't really inspect the old clutch to tell. But basically, though, I could tell this is an aftermarket clutch, though, because as far as I know, the OEM clutches on the Banshee will have like a O-ring between the fibers. Feel, is that two stacked together? Dude, that is kind of scary. Because if you saw when I took this out, I took it all in one. So the fact that there's two of these stacked together right now is not a good sign either. And they're aligned. Dude. As you can tell, it is a lot more of a sharper edge, as this one is pretty worn. This one is actually really worn. Who am I lying to? That is pretty worn. Alright, we're gonna let that soak overnight, and hopefully by tomorrow my last and final part for my water neck will be here, and we'll throw this clutch in, and we're gonna change out this impeller that's on the back side of this with the one I have that's actually billet right here now. So we got our water neck, I think you'd call it, and our O-ring for it, and our clip, and we're gonna throw that in. Do this impeller right now too. Impeller pieces. Also got a case saver we got put on, so we gotta take the sprocket off to put that on. I'm not sure about the neutral switch, I think it would be called, because this motor is in the RZ350, I think it is called, the street bike, and it has a neutral switch right there. That's a cover for it. So I don't know if we have to remove that, or does this replace it? Alright, take this. So, slide this impeller out now. Ooh, this impeller is actually really worn. Definitely looks like it was rubbing on something back here. But we got a billet one now too, boys. Alright, got it all put back together. Got the new impeller in there, new bearing, new seal. We can now put the water pump cover back on here, but we'll do that once we set it in the bike and put the clutch in. So now, gonna go ahead and throw the clutch in. I don't know why I wasn't wearing gloves for that. You can actually see how much thicker these new springs are compared to the other ones. I don't know what these other ones are, but they're like spray painted yellow. These new ones are so much thicker and stiffer. So, gonna put them all in now and torque them all down, and clutch is all in there. Alright, clutch cable is ready to be thrown in. This is the old one. We gotta take off the grill, throw the clutch cable in, it's all disconnected. We got our clutch cover gasket. We also got a tail light here. I'm just waiting for the mounts to come in. So we got clutch case cover gasket, clutch cable. Let's get to work, boys. New clutch cable. Oh yeah. Alright, I'm in the middle of taking off everything for the clutch cable, but I want to put on the front bumper too. We got an OEM front bumper. Technically it's not the exact right silver, because I guess the silver changed from the older years. But I can get the paint code for the right silver and paint this, because it's too hard to get the correct year one for a 96. But you can get the newer ones all day. As you can see, silver's a little off. See, the silver's a little different. So we're gonna have to order the right silver. But I want to see what it's gonna look like at least. We got some OEM bolts for it too to throw on. End caps. There's so many parts going on this Banshee right now. We put the clutch cable on too. Clutch is feeling so good. Best it's ever felt. And it's all the way in now, where before it was maxed out tension. Old cable was just old and crusty. So feeling super good right now. About to bolt it all back together. Put the foot peg on. Everything on this side. Then move over to this side. Oh, didn't realize that with the fenders. Then move over to this side over here and do that shifter shaft seal. Alright, I messed up and I put oil in it before I took my shifter seal out. I'm pretty sure oil would come out of here. With it being a seal and all. So here's the old seal. I got it out. About to throw the new seal in right now. So toss that bad boy. And then after that, I'm gonna start this thing up. Make sure it's all good. All good. Take off the chain and do my clean this up actually. Then take off the chain and put in my case saver. But carbs are back on. Everything's back on right now. So I'm just gonna pop this other seal in. And then should be ready to rip. TM case saver. Took the sprocket off. we're gonna see how this thing goes. I'm just not sure if it removes this plate or not, or what the deal is. So it looks like you leave the neutral switch cover on, and you just put this over it using the new bolts. So I'm gonna put them on and Loctite the bolts on, and we should be good to go. Case saver's in there. About to throw this cover back on, and then we'll start this thing up. Definitely looks like you're gonna have to cut this part off of the case though, because it doesn't want to go on. So cut that off real quick, and then we'll throw it together. All right, let's hit a little first start since the fresh build piece. Let's see how the Banshee's doing. That was an easy kick. Banshee's all back together now. She's got full of coolant. She's all hooked up and she's ready to rip right now. So there's only a few more things I'm waiting on, and that's the OEM bolt I ordered for my foot guards, because I just had some random bolts in there, and I got some new fender bolts because some of my fender bolts aren't the Phillips head ones, and I need to bleed the front brakes in this thing. Front brakes are toasted. Front bumper's on there now. It actually doesn't even look too bad with the two different colors. Like, you could tell, but you can't like tell too hard. So I don't know if it's worth spray painting it or not. We'll see. I think that's gonna do it for now on the Banshee until the other parts show up. But we might continue that video next time and go and actually ride this thing. But new clutch, everything's feeling good on it. I just put it in gear right here. As before, I wouldn't even let you go into gear, because the second you drop it into gear, the bike would stall because the clutch would just drop on itself. So clutch is feeling good. We'll give it a final test when we go and actually ride it. But Banshee's so cleaned up. Got the nice case saver all up in there. You never know. Why not take $60? This is the good one too, that actually mounts to the back. There's other ones, but they literally just do these 3 bolts and they don't go around the sprocket shaft itself. This one went around the sprocket shaft itself. So yeah, she can be cleaned up a little bit better. As you can tell, I just washed it off, tried to get all the grease off, but now she can be actually cleaned up. But I figured I'm gonna be riding it soon, so we'll take this thing out real soon. But that's gonna do it for this one. Banshee's looking so good. Till next time, boys. See you in the next one.